Cyprus looks small on a map, but its story is much larger than its size. It sits in the eastern Mediterranean, close to the Levant, not far from Turkey, Syria, Lebanon, Israel, Egypt, Greece, and North Africa. That location has made it a meeting point between Europe, Asia, and Africa for thousands of years. Today, Cyprus is known for beaches, ancient ruins, Mediterranean food, and tourism. But it is also one of the most politically complicated islands in the world. The internationally recognized Republic of Cyprus controls the south. The north is administered by the Turkish Republic of Northern Cyprus, recognized only by Turkey. Between them lies a United Nations buffer zone, cutting through the island and even through its capital, Nicosia. The geography of Cyprus explains much of its history. It is the third largest and third most populous island in the Mediterranean, after Sicily and Sardinia. Its mountains, coastal plains, and natural harbors made it both defensible and accessible. More importantly, Cyprus was rich in copper, a metal so closely associated with the island that many historians connect the word copper itself to Cyprus. In the ancient world, copper was essential for bronze tools, weapons, and trade. So Cyprus was not just a beautiful island, it was a strategic resource hub. Whoever controlled it gained access to shipping routes, mineral wealth, and influence over the eastern Mediterranean. Human settlement on Cyprus goes back around 13,000 years, when hunter-gatherers first reached the island. By about 8,500 BC, farming communities had appeared, bringing a more settled way of life. Over time, villages grew, trade networks expanded, and Cyprus became deeply connected to nearby civilizations. During the Late Bronze Age, an urbanized society known as Alashiya emerged. Alashiya appears in ancient records as a place linked to copper, diplomacy, and exchange with the wider Mediterranean and Near Eastern worlds. This early period is important because it shows that Cyprus was never isolated. From the beginning, the island was shaped by movement, trade, migration, and contact with powerful neighbors. At the end of the second millennium BC, waves of Mycenaean Greek settlement helped transform the island's culture. Greek language, religion, and identity became deeply rooted in Cyprus, but the island remained open to many influences. Because of its position and wealth, it was repeatedly contested by major powers. Assyrians, Egyptians, and Persians all ruled or dominated Cyprus at different times. In 333 BC, Alexander the Great took it from the Persians during his campaign against the Achaemenid Empire. After Alexander's death, Cyprus became part of the Hellenistic world under the Ptolemies of Egypt. Its history during these centuries was not simply a sequence of conquests, it was the story of a crossroads society absorbing and adapting influences from every direction. Cyprus later became part of the Roman world, first under the classical Roman Empire and then under the Eastern Roman, or Byzantine, Empire. Christianity took root, churches and monasteries became important institutions, and Greek-speaking culture remained central. But Cyprus's location also made it vulnerable during the rise of Arab caliphates, when control and influence in the eastern Mediterranean shifted repeatedly. Later, the island passed through the hands of the French Lusignan dynasty, creating a medieval kingdom tied to the Crusader world. Then came Venetian rule, which fortified the island against Ottoman expansion. Each ruling power left traces, castles, walls, churches, ports, legal traditions, and layers of memory that still shape the island's cultural landscape. In 1571, the Ottoman Empire conquered Cyprus, beginning more than 3 centuries of Ottoman rule. This period changed the island's demographics and politics. Turkish-speaking Muslims settled on the island, joining the existing Greek-speaking Christian population and other communities. Over time, the two largest communities, Greek Cypriots and Turkish Cypriots, developed distinct identities, religions, institutions, and political expectations. Ottoman rule did not erase earlier layers of Cypriot life, but it added a new and lasting one. The later conflict over Cyprus cannot be understood without recognizing this long coexistence, not as a simple story of permanent separation, but as centuries of shared space, unequal power, local cooperation, and periodic tension. The next major shift came in 1878, when Cyprus was placed under British administration through the Cyprus Convention. Britain wanted a strategic foothold in the eastern Mediterranean, especially as imperial competition intensified around the Ottoman Empire and routes to the Middle East and India. In 1914, after the Ottoman Empire entered World War I on the opposing side, Britain formally annexed Cyprus. British rule brought new administrative systems, infrastructure, and political frameworks, but it also intensified questions about the island's future. For many Greek Cypriots, the desired goal became Enosis' union with Greece. For many Turkish Cypriots, that idea raised fears of becoming a vulnerable minority under Greek rule. By the 1950s, the island's political future had become a crisis. Greek Cypriot nationalists pushed more forcefully for Enosis, which had also become a major cause in Greek national politics. Turkish Cypriots initially favored continued British rule as protection against union with Greece. Later, many supported Taksim, meaning partition, dividing the island and creating a Turkish political entity in the north. Violence grew during the 1950s, and the colonial administration struggled to maintain control. The conflict was not just local, it involved Greece, Turkey, Britain, and wider Cold War-era concerns. Cyprus was becoming an international problem because its location made it too strategic for outside powers to ignore. In 1960, Cyprus gained independence as the Republic of Cyprus. The new state was designed as a power-sharing republic between Greek Cypriots and Turkish Cypriots, with guarantees involving Greece, Turkey, and the United Kingdom. On paper, it was a compromise meant to avoid both union with Greece and partition. In practice, it was fragile. The two communities disagreed over constitutional powers, security, and representation. In 1963 and 1964, a major crisis brought intercommunal violence. More than 25,000 Turkish Cypriots were displaced into enclaves, and Turkish Cypriot participation in the Republic's political institutions effectively ended. Independence had not solved the central dispute, it had revealed how difficult power sharing would be. The decisive rupture came in 1974. On July 15, Greek Cypriot nationalists, backed by elements of the Greek military junta, staged a coup against the government of Cyprus. Their aim was linked to Enosis, the long-standing goal of union with Greece. Turkey responded on July 20 by invading Cyprus, citing its role as a guarantor power and the need to protect Turkish Cypriots. Turkish forces captured the territory that forms present-day northern Cyprus. The human cost was enormous. Over 150,000 Greek Cypriots were displaced from the north, while around 50,000 Turkish Cypriots were displaced from the south. Communities that had once lived across the island were separated by force, fear, and new military lines. After 1974, Cyprus became physically and politically divided. The United Nations buffer zone, often called the Green Line, separated the two sides. Nicosia became one of the world's last divided capitals. In 1983, the North declared itself the Turkish Republic of Northern Cyprus. The international community widely condemned the declaration, and to this day, only Turkey recognizes it as a state. The Republic of Cyprus remains the internationally recognized government of the island, even though it does not control the north. This creates an unusual reality: one island, two administrations, foreign troops, abandoned properties, competing memories, and decades of negotiations that have repeatedly failed to produce a lasting settlement. Despite the division, the Republic of Cyprus has become a developed, high-income democracy with very high human development. Its economy relies on services, shipping, finance, real estate, and tourism. The island's warm Mediterranean climate, beaches, archaeological sites, monasteries, old towns, and blended cultural heritage attract millions of visitors. Cyprus joined the European Union in 2004, though EU law is suspended in the north where the Republic of Cyprus does not exercise control. It adopted the euro in 2008. The island also has unique strategic features: The south hosts the British sovereign military bases of Akrotiri and Dhekelia, remnants of Britain's imperial role and still important for regional security. Cyprus today is both a success story and an unresolved conflict. It is a member of the Commonwealth, was a founding member of the non-aligned movement before joining the European Union, and has maintained good relations with NATO. In 2024, it announced its intention to officially join NATO, reflecting the island's continued importance in regional politics. But the division remains central to Cypriot life. Property claims, security guarantees, displaced families, political recognition, and the future of Turkish Cypriots and Greek Cypriots all remain sensitive questions. Cyprus matters because it shows how geography can create opportunity and vulnerability at the same time. It is a tourist destination, an ancient crossroads, a European state, and a divided island whose final chapter has not yet been written. If you found this helpful, please like this video and subscribe for more explainers.